Ladies and gentlemen, prepare to be motivated by your host, Reverend John Wheeler! Now shut up! You shut up! Sit down! Shut up! Shut up!
Hey everybody, welcome to a weird, you don't even know why it's weird, or maybe I don't know why it's weird, and I put whatever's weird in the thumbnail, and like the last one, our big blowout 9/11 special, it'll get all of these views on YouTube because I put, did the Queen Elizabeth do 9/11, and I think people just clicked on it without looking that, oh, it says podcast, oh, it's an hour and 5 minutes long. I've watched for 15 minutes and he has not gotten to that issue of the Queen doing 9/11. I don't think he's ever going to get there. And if that's what you thought, you'd be correct.
Yeah, sucker.
Because we talked about the Queen and we talked about 9/11 and we called your 9/11 headquarters the Clubhouse at Aquia Harbor, who I tag every time I repost anything from that episode. Not even the stuff about them, just when I was talking about like... the guy, the jacket off on chat roulette guy in his jacket, and the rest of his clothes were off, violently and aggressively vacuuming his apartment in merry old London, England. Or somewhere in England. I don't know exactly where he was. Explaining how that's not how Germans run things and whatever else. I just tagged their Facebook page, and hopefully they have to have some sort of weird block on that or something where they're like, you can't just continue to terrorize us. And I love it, too, because have you ever watched, Meredith, the show Below Deck? Not Lower Decks, that's that weird, like, Star Trek cartoon or whatever. But no, Below Deck is this thing that Alexis found on garbage TV, probably it was on, like, Netflix. And it was about people who are the people that work on yachts. So, like...
God, they make TV shows for anything.
They really... It's funny, because that could be the one where you're like, God, they'll just do anything. But that one is actually one of the more interesting ones I've seen in a while. Not that it's like... After a while, you get it. It's just a fucking highly paid, but still kitchen staff. And the only thing about it that sucks is the rules on those things are very strict. You know, it's like you cannot drink until you go to shore. So it's not like a real behind-the-scenes, line cook show, because it would just basically be like Scarface, except for with like...
Wait. Was it like a reality TV show sort of thing, or was it like actually made... Oh, okay, all right. Yeah,
it was a reality show thing. It was, it was just, the people that... Because they get, the people that go on these mega yachts, it's like someone buys a yacht, and it's almost like... Yachts are the original... See, and I didn't know... I think this is the only reason it's interesting, because it's like I'm never going to have enough money for this to matter to me. Like, to own a yacht, to go on a yacht, it's like a rental. Like, I really like the old grizzled sea captain that runs the yacht. I mean, I'd love to be that guy. And he was always, like, done with everybody's shit, and, like, that was funny. He's like the, Super Troopers. He's just like... Just finish up by lunchtime. Like, they're all naked or whatever. It's like, that's funny. And it's like a highly skilled. I mean, that guy would land and launch the fucking thing by himself. Like it's hard to not crash a giant boat when you're doing that shit. But anyway, on that show, it's like yachts were the original Airbnb type thing or whatever, because it's like someone will own the yacht and it's like their yacht. And I don't think they own it just for the business venture. I think it's like they have it and it's like, well, it can either sit there for like 9 months until I feel like using it, but it's not like, when you have a sailboat or whatever, it sits there. It sits there in the harbor and you're like, let's go sailing, and then you get sunburned and drowned and like whatever, and you're just like, well, we shouldn't have done that, and this thing's a lot of money, and it's like, your dreams are real stupid when you have to actually do them. But I say that a lot about everything. I'm like, try to envision the day-to-day. It makes so much stuff not happen.
I often ruin a lot of plans for myself by doing that.
Or make them better. Like whenever, sometimes like Alexis and I are like, we should go to Ground Zero, and it's like, in our heads we're just thinking of half-naked old people and like techno music, and it's like fun, but instead of just like standing around, you can't hear each other, you're not meeting anybody new, it's way too loud, the drinks are all like $7-11, whatever.
Way overpriced.
Yeah, and you're just kind of like, this is just sort of boring now, and I'm waiting to leave, unless...
It's actually really like sad and depressing it in there.
But it's all it ever. But it's more interesting when you're younger. It was never any different. It's just that we were younger.
No.
So anyway, it's like, oh, I think it'd be funny to have like a rhesus monkey, and it's like you're gonna have to clean its poop off the floor like 3 times a day, and then like figure out when you're gonna leave. It's like you're not like, but then you just see a monkey see, monkey do. You're like, monkey's fun, but you're like, think about the day to day, and so like, yeah. You have a sailboat, you're just like, this is just costing me money for this thing to just exist somewhere, and I visit it occasionally, and you're like, that sucks. And a yacht is like that, except for it's to the tune of like $48 million for those fucking things cost for not even all that big of one.
That's like a low end.
Mm-hmm. It's like the one on that show. It's not a mega yacht. It's not like a city. Because, like, mega yachts are like a cruise ship that's just yours to run around on like a lunatic. But, like, it's just like a floating Burj Khalifa just owned by Saudi princes. But, yeah, these are more like, the $20-40 million range of, like, it's big. And there's, like, sleeping quarters for the staff and for people to hang out on. It's big enough to support, like, life or whatever. But it's so much money that, like, yeah, you're rich. But if you're really rich, you would have gotten the big one. And you didn't, did you? Because, see, you just invested in some company that you split into pieces and sold off individually and then made an app or something. And you're like, oh, yeah, I made $100 million. I mean, 20, it's a lot, but we'll use it a lot. It's a yacht. And it's like, but you don't even have, $100 million isn't even enough to get to rent a ride on the mega yacht that you really wish you had. Like, you need to have billions of dollars made from resource extraction and human misery and moving the doomsday clock forward, literally like the fucking power meter on the side of the Clark Griswold's house when he turns all the Christmas lights on. Just like, so we found a new way to get a new form of energy out of the ground. Like, hey, just watching that. It's like we got 100 more years of just watching it rolling. It's like, well, we got till March, like, and then we're gonna die. Yeah, you're not making extinction level money. That is not what you're doing. So you bought a $20 million yacht, and it's a little out of your range, and you're finding out, oh no, I don't ride on this thing enough to justify it. But are you gonna sell your yacht? Are you gonna? All your stupid rich friends are gonna know you're lying when you're just like, I think what I'm gonna do is get a bigger one. And it's like, I think Bob can't afford it, and then Bob doesn't get invited to all the parties anymore, especially not the ones on the yachts of the people who didn't have to get rid of them. They didn't have to be sensible. They could just buy a $40 million yacht and fucking sink it. What the hell do they care? Could you do that, Bob? No, and now they know that. Fake it till you make it. You've been exposed. So what do? Well, you turn it into a business venture like you do with everything, you fucking horrible, lecherous piece of shit. Why not make money out of even your dumb, passing little fancies like owning a yacht? So they hire like a captain who I think is probably who would drive it around. Because they don't. If I bought a yacht, they weren't just like.
It's hard to learn how to drive it.
Well, yeah, it's like, Mr. Wheeler, just put your whiskey down. All right, so here's what you're gonna do. Like, turn this knob. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, just point it away from people. It's like a gun.
To where you need more than like one guy too. You need like a couple of.
You need kind of a crew. I mean, the dude could kind of
engineers or whatever.
Oh yeah, there is kind of a steerage. I think there are some people that are. This episode's entirely going to be about yachting, and I don't know anything about it at all, except for what I've...
yacht, like, I don't even ever think I've seen a yacht in person, so... Legally
speaking, I have never been on a yacht either, because, see, no one's ever invited me on one, so how would I have gotten on one in the middle of the night? So, anyway, I don't know what that's like. So, but yeah, they Airbnb these things. The captain's probably my captain that's like driving them around on their Coke parties. It's just like, well, okay, so we're going to hire like a bit more of a crew than usual to like kind of entertain people who think they're balling because they're, renting a few days on a yacht. Like, think about that. Like, you're trying to be, and it's a lot of money. It costs like, I think it's like $50,000 and then you tip the staff like $20,000 to like split. It's like a lot. Ugh. Or whatever. It's like because they would always get mostly paid from like tips. It's like a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money. Like being like $50,000 or $80,000 for like an excursion, and usually it's like a group of people. It's like if you could afford a yacht, you would have just bought it and started your own stupid company and then had a reality show made about it. But you're just renting it, so you're bossing these people around. Well, What I'm saying is, unless you're like 100 billionaire Saudi prince with a bunch of mega yachts that you don't even fucking remember you have, you're not as rich as you think you are, and you should be ashamed. And you should be fighting even harder to lobby Congress to change all the laws in your favor and just destroy the rest of this stupid planet because this middle section of it almost falling apart is becoming really tedious. I want the real apocalypse, and I think it comes from yachting.
Why did we start talking about yachts, and why did you bring up the show?
Why yacht? I can't tell you why I brought up the show without going back and watching the podcast. In which case, no, it doesn't really matter.
Okay, cool.
I don't know why we're talking about that, or why we're talking about the show. The show is why we're talking about yachts.
Yeah, I know. I remember that, but I'm like, why did we start talking about the yacht?
I don't know. Some about reality TV that Alexis was watching, and I really liked it. Well, not really liked it in that way where I really like Limp Bizkit. Like it's fun and I hate it.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know. But I think the point was, at least as I move the goalposts along, was that the show actually like shows these people who their whole thing is they're like, well, we work on these Jersey Shore aged people, which is obviously how this show got made, because it's like, oh, they're hooking up and whatever, and like. So
that's what it's really about.
Yeah, it kind of is. It's also kind of about their drama. It's a reality show. It's only ever going to be about how they're like, Alex was supposed to bring the rope in, but he is just like, I'm already in steerage. It's like, I'm not doing two jobs. And it's like, everyone has to pull together to make this work. And the captain yells at him, and then they're trying to fuck. And yeah, whatever. It's that. And then the people that like rent or maybe it was about how much they got tipped or something. Because it's like they'd make a lot of money, and then they'd be like, it's one of those weird jobs where if you're like a weird backpacker, and it's like, how do these people, if they don't come from an obscenely rich family, how do these people just disappear for half the year? It's like, well, because they spend a season, like 3 months, making ass loads of money, like really fast, like not investment, level money, but like, yeah, they rake in just like thousands and thousands of dollars a week in tips. And so like it is like a 6-figure job compressed into like 3 months, and then you can kind of just grab a backpack and be like, well, our last port was in Puerto Rico, so I'm just gonna keep island hopping, and then just like they're like dead fucking broke. I mean, here I am talking like, oh, what a bunch of idiots. I'm like, I mean, if I could handle working in the service sector in any capacity, and I can't. Like, I mean, some people are like, is your personality on screen or whenever I've seen you, like you turning on? It's like, nope. And it's also, not only do I not turn what you've seen on for you because you don't deserve it, it's just the way I am. I also cannot stuff it in my sock. It's impossible. I cannot be like, oh, no, what will that be, sir? It's like, I was just pretending to say that made my eye twitch. It's like, I don't care what you want. Like, I would be a murderer.
I had people ask me if I would ever consider, like, working on a cruise ship or something like that. Just,
As an entertainer, it might be fun. I've known people who've done that shit.
Well, as an entertainer, but as my profession, cosmetology, no.
Yeah.
Like,
somehow you're.
Also, I don't want to be stuck on a boat.
My favorite quote of yours regarding your cosmetology career has always been when you worked at Great Clips and you were complaining about the haircut sale because the haircuts there were already so cheap and they were like half price. And you were like, I was like, what's so
$4.99 for
Yeah. I was like, what's wrong? Just because it's really busy? You're like, no, people come out of their graves for that shit. Like, it's like the Thriller videos, like haircut, the one they get a year because it's $4. That's gotta last them too as it grows out into this crisp Farley pumpkin pie thing full of lice and fucking beetles.
Absolute horseshit. Company would continue to do that like 3 times a year, and it's like, how the fuck are you making money? You're oversaturating a market to begin with, and then like you're charging $4 or $5 for a haircut.
It's because they think the kind of people that are like, sweet, I don't normally get my haircut, but it's $4, so I guess I will, are the kind of people that, well, hook them in that way, then they become lifelong customers. It's like, A, they come in 3 times a year, which is as often as you have your $4 haircuts, and by the way, most of those people have 3 to 5 years left tops. So your whole lifelong customer plan, A, didn't work, and if it did, if you're like, and that's 30 years of business, I think you mean 3. And so, it is just like a horribly piss poor. But Great Clips was just run on like, fast, like the worst fast food franchise you could think of, and it's just like haircuts. Oh my God. I think that almost reminded me of something that would have been like a really good topic. Oh yeah. I think it was just only because I did want to mention that, I've seen, like, this is, okay, I need to back this story up a little bit. And we were talking about this earlier before the camera and mics were on. But that, long ago, I'd be traveling more, and you'd have to, when you travel to play music and whatnot, you go through the rural parts of the United States. And there were a lot of people in 15, 16, whatever, that were like, oh, Donald Trump is never going to become the president in a million years. And I kind of knew that he was going to win because I'm like, what everybody thinks about this guy, which is wrong, but they really think it really hard and everybody thinks it. I can see that. And the dude is an amazing grifter. And I will get to the point of how funny that is now in these later days of that, which I think is the thing maybe this will be about because it's so enjoyable. But I'd be, out driving around, I'd be like, dude, I have just only seen signs for this guy littering the hills and the mountains all through everywhere in the country. And I'm like, the fucking dumb rural hicks have this disparate. It's like the people in the cities shouldn't decide what happens. It's like, that's because there's 5 of you out here. And for some reason, you're like, we should get the same say as 900,000 people do in this city where change actually affects them, right. Which it, doesn't on the place where you repair old cars out on a farm. You're like, can you believe this tax rate they tried to do for, it's like, what's your property tax a year? It's like, it's almost $9, Jesus. You'd think I had 80 acres instead of just 50. They're trying to kill me. So we got to do that. They're like, okay, so yeah, we should definitely listen to you. It's like, what about, it's like, oh yeah, the whole city burned down because everybody got even more poor because what you wanted to happen. We're like, well, that's not my problem. Then I get to say more than they do. Like, it's so, but anyway, so all those people wanted Trump real bad. It's like, oh, he's going to get the Mexicans. Like, oh boy. Have you ever even seen one of those up here? But fine, whatever. And then I was like, he's going to win. Everyone's like, no. And I'm like, you want him to? I'm like, not really. But he did. And I saw it coming. And then the second time around, there were those like shops. But there weren't as many signs. I kind of knew he was going to lose. Like the temperature because of COVID and everything was very like, yeah, he probably would have won again if it weren't for that. And it might have been really close. But he lost in like a landslide. Oh, there's my State Farm person, which, yeah, let's answer this on the show. Hey, hello.
Hi, Mr. Wheeler. This is Dorinda Warren. I'm a State Farm adjuster.
Hey, yeah, we spoke before.
Okay. I'm going over reconciling between us and the contractor's estimate. I just need to verify that Easy Home Solutions is your... I just need to hear it from you that they are the one that's going to be doing the work.
Yes.
Okay.
That has been the plan.
Okay, good. It's just a kind of protocol I have to follow here.
That's totally fair.
Get everything in, so you should be hearing something from us in a couple of days on it.
Well, that'll be very exciting. It's been a long, wild journey, but I'm glad you could help kind of get it cinched up in the end here.
Yeah, I hope I can move it along. Okay. Well, that's all I needed from you right now. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Totally worth it.
Listen, I needed to know. I like her accent. I've talked to her on the phone before.
She sounds great.
And I think she thinks I'm kind of funny. But
I can tell.
Why does it say I got a missed call just like right now? Did she call me more than once? I don't know. We'll deal with that after the podcast. And I also, though, it's worth it because I have been complaining about the the state of affairs with our roof. Since before you were on the fucking podcast.
Yeah,
there's episodes.
There was an episode, probably wasn't the last one.
Months and months ago.
Where there was like an update, so yeah.
Yeah, it's very important that everyone knows about this. But anyway, she actually has really come along and helped us along a bit, so that's very good. And I couldn't think of anything funny to say because I was kind of in my head about the whole, like, I got to stay on the fucking weird, the weird Trump sighting thing. Oh, yeah. So the second time I was pretty sure he was going to lose, but I saw those shops, which almost was a thing that told me that he was going to lose. Like, sort of the fact that there's these, like, storefronts of this tacky shit of our fattest president since Taft with, like, muscles and a rocket launcher. Everyone's like, hell yeah, that's not weird. And, like, they were this billboard to remind everyone else who might have been on the fence how stupid everyone is that likes that guy. So even if you were like, I don't know, I mean, really behind the scenes, I think he might have done a good job. But then you look at the fan base and you're like, I can't vote for the same guy these guys are voting. I mean, I just can't. Like, if you were truly kind of neutral, some people, I think, were literally swayed by those, because they're also angry too, like, put everyone that doesn't like him in jail, and everyone's like, I'm not very smart, because I'm on the fence, you know? This should have been obvious a long time ago. I even voted for him last time, because I thought he'd shake things up in a way that didn't make everything worse. Whoops. But I think, I mean, like, he was born with, like, hundreds of millions of dollars, and he's fat, and everyone has him wearing, like, biker jackets on these, and he's, like, muscular, and it's fucking, like, Mac from Always Sunny's running for president. Like, what is this? Do those people like that stuff he's putting out because this is all a fucked up scam? No. Maybe. Shit. What if I vote for him and then it really comes out once and for all that it was only ever, he admits, he's like, I hate you all, I was just scamming you, I'm too old to do anything again, so I'm just gonna come clean, it's embarrassing for you, and I'd be embarrassed, people I've never heard of who aren't paying any attention to me might think that I'm stupid too. Just to be safe, I'm voting for the other guy. So I think that those storefronts cause that, because your average person thinks like that, okay? They're not evil, they're not totally stupid, but they're a little slow, and they overestimate how much other people pay attention to them, and they're, you know, it's like I was singing, and I think maybe one of the neighbors could hear me, and it's like, just stop. And like, they're like, I really don't understand the Let's Go Brandon thing. Is Joe Biden's real name Brandon? Did they just spell it wrong? I'm not one of these people. I can spell Biden. I don't even like him, but I can spell it. His name isn't Brandon, and they don't want him to go away? Or no? What is that? And then it comes out, it's like someone misheard something at a NASCAR rally. If you want to count yourself among people that love that. Who also can't hear or understand things, and turned it into this nonsensical slogan because it secretly means fuck Biden. It's like, is that why it's right next to the giant uncensored fuck Biden flag you're also selling? Is that your secret plan? And then I'm like, I try to give her the benefit of the doubt, and I'm like, what if they were a little smart? Like,
it's the Christian way of saying fuck you. I just wanted to put that.
Yeah, it's not even, I mean, a lot of them are, because, you know, if you want a group of people that have been historically proven to fall for something fake, they might again. And look at that, they did. So, yeah, but I was like, well, maybe it's a little clever. Like, maybe they're like, well, then they're like the liberal, because that's always the thing, like, this is going to piss everyone off, and everyone's like, I'm only bringing it up because it's confusing. And no one has ever been mad about it in history. They've only ever been like, is that, how do you feel about that? I'm like, I don't understand. It's like, yeah, well, I'd be too frustrated to say anything too if I were you. I'm like, no, I don't get it. Like, what? Can you walk me through this real quick? It's like, well, see, what it means is they were saying fuck Joe Biden, but I thought they were saying let's go Brandon. I'm like, that is going on my truck.
Worse.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And then I'm like, okay, what if though? They're like, because they believe it'll make everyone really mad, which is bizarre. But they're like, well, they'll start making their own that say, let's go Donald, to make fun of us back. But see, because they're stupid liberals, stupid. And they'll be like, yeah, let's go, Donald. See? And then everyone will vote for our guy, and it'll be like, we fooled them into, like, free advertising. I'm like, you are dumber than I thought.
That's amazing, because I've never even thought of it like that.
You know what? You know why I just thought of that right now? Because I am smarter than the average person as much as the average person is smarter than someone that would have a Let's Go Brandon thing on their truck. It's like when Apocalypse from the X-Men movie's like, I'm as far beyond mutants as mutants are from the amoeba. Yeah, that's me. Like, sorry. Like, I don't have to be nice about that. You know why? Because if anything bad ever happens, I'm smart enough to get out of it. So fuck you. Well, that's negative PR. First of all, there's no such thing. You've never worked in PR. I kind of have. And I might again. And I'll get into my possible new jobs that I'm ruining by having this podcast very soon. Actually, not really. Literally, both of my best prospects would just be like, you're funny. Do you want to make more money? But, yeah, if that's the secret plan, then, it didn't work, by the way. I don't know. But I do feel like kind of like the advertising for the second go around almost held a mirror up, you know, like if someone's sitting there, like someone's like kicking a dog or something, but someone videotapes them and forces them to watch it. They're like, I was mad. I shouldn't. I gotta stop doing that. I gotta take control of my life. You know, it's like, it was like that, you know, where you're just like, hey, this is what you thought was good. Like, huh? And so, like, yeah, Let's Go Brandon. What is that? It's so stupid. So, I think people were like, okay, we're done. You know, to the point where it's like, somebody like me that works for maybe the Democratic National, you know, like, maybe that was COINTELPRO. Because they fucking for sure know that, like, everyone falls for propaganda, by the way. Like, even people who are kind of on my side of the fence, some of them definitely have these ideologies that are full of all of these weird catch-22s that don't go together, and I'm like, that feels like someone handed this to you. Mm-hmm. And it's also the stuff the other side makes fun of so much that it's almost like they came up with it for you. And if you're like, yeah, but that only happens to Trump supporters, I'm like, no. It happens to college kids, too. I hate to tell you. It doesn't happen to, like, old progressive guys because we can see it, but the 19-year-old ones were like, this is the most important thing, and everyone's like, oh, stupid. Like, shh, but we do know that your average Trump guy is ultra susceptible to basically anything. So it is almost like a PR, an ad man like me for someone who's like, let's get them to do this so everyone sees it and just goes like the people who are deep in the team can't get them out anyway. They're lost. But anyone on the fence is like, well, maybe again, he'll stick it to the big banks eventually. Maybe in his second term, he'll start looking into that or something. You know, he won't. But you'd be like, yeah, okay. And then those people see that T-shirt and bumper sticker combination, and they're just like, okay, fuck it. I'm just voting for somebody else this time. This is dumb. And by the way, if you're watching this and you're like, John, how do you really decide who you're going to vote for? Whoever people are wearing T-shirts of the least. Yeah. That is my new political party. It's called the No Merch Party. And it's like, if I have never seen someone being like, hey, see, I'm like, oh, vote for the other guy. Like, I'm pretty sure it's like if it ever is like a Democratic candidate, this is kind of like, has a picture of like, you know, his head like on RoboCop's body being like, he's gonna kick ass. I'm like, oops, I guess I'm voting Republican. Like, that's... No. I
don't know. You can't put something awesome like RoboCop, though.
Rambo is cool. I mean, Rambo is a little stupider. That was always my old joke, though. If they were like Bernie Sanders in like okay, the minute. I was always hoping I would get a chance to vote for Bernie Sanders. That's kind of where I sit, except for I like having machine guns. That's why I always call myself a Killer Mike liberal. Because when Killer Mike and Bernie Sanders sat down and had a talk, they agreed on absolutely everything, except for Killer Mike was like, and you need a bunch of AKs. And Bernie's like, no, you don't. He's like, that's where we differ, sir. And then, that was a good interview. But
I don't think Bernie was as anti-gun as he is.
Yeah, but he's not as pro-gun as one half of my favorite rap group, Run the Jewels, Killer Mike.
Okay.
Who also, by the way, there's never been a better symbol of racial equality. Like, the very best rap group God ever gave us in our modern times is a fat black guy and a fat white guy, and they make beautiful music together. United we stand! God damn it. So, and then they also, have lots of guns because, they live in Atlanta. What are you going to do? Like, not have that? Like, Mike owns a chain of barbershops. I'm sure everyone in there is packing heat. He knows what he's doing. So, but anywho, I need to visit Atlanta again. Some friends of ours have a restaurant down there. It's a really cool city. And there's it's the worst traffic I've ever seen. They have 8-lane highways where it's 9 at night and you're not even moving. You're going backwards. I'm like, like, holy shit.
Oh, and they're also just aligned with trash bags.
Oh, yeah, people just whip garbage bags out the window and stuff. It's a hell of a town. But anyhow, let's see. Bernie Sanders, Oh, right. What I was saying is my joke was always, because everyone always has Trump being like a blue-collar hero with like muscles who's like in the military and didn't just lie his way out of it and all this other shit. It's like they don't get it at all. And just the propaganda machine. But I'm like, listen, the minute I see someone in a lifted Prius with a flag with Bernie Sanders in like RoboCop's body, like holding a giant machine gun with NPR turned up so loud that it's rattling the windows in people's neighborhoods, to be like, I turn up NPR real loud so everyone can hear the truth. It's like, I will vote for whoever is running against him then. Like that? Yeah, absolutely. It's like, well, I'm out.
God, that's so tempting because I'm like...
I kind of want to do that now. My Prius is like 11 feet in the air, and it's just like all the way up. It's just kind of like, the flat tax rate. It's like this reasonable NPR thing, but it's deafening you because I'm smart enough to install a nicer stereo.
I would just like have all the Bernie Sanders like... shit pasted all over my car, and then I would just remove the catalytic converter out of my Prius. So I'm just
yeah,
driving around. Because that's impressive, right? I mean, that means I have a big dick.
Yeah, your car is so loud that it's hurting people's ears and it upsets people, and that means you're doing real good.
And it's just my raised up Prius.
Yeah.
No,
it just has stickers on it that just say like equality, and there's like explosions coming out of it. It's like covered in blood. Like, fuck yeah, we're gonna fucking get everybody health care.
Green New Deal.
Like, we're gonna take the Green New Deal. We're gonna take. I mean, you could actually take the really far left commie imagery and just have like guillotines with Jeff Bezos' head in it and just like cut his head off. By the way, I kind of do, and I think I wish people would do that a little more. I mean, you'll notice that the left doesn't advertise very much because it's incredibly stupid to do so. Like, let's turn my car into a target. Like, no, it'll scare people off. I'm like, you are living on another planet.
How scary would it be though to have a lifted Prius just with all that shit on it?
Just with instead of lock her up, it's like cut his fucking head off.
Yeah,
it's like just murder and violence and execution instead of just like put Hillary Clinton in jail. Just be like, I'm gonna skin you alive and make your family eat it. Like, well, that's not cool. I'm like, yeah, I'm not cool, you fucking moron.
Soup for my family.
Yeah, I just bash someone's head in with a thing of garbanzo beans. These are better for you than regular beans, idiot. Yeah, that's what I want. I'm not gonna do it. Because again, I'm not like, I have lots of guns and not a single sticker about it. I have a Prius with an Apple sticker on it. So someone's going to be like, I'm going to start a fight with you and be like, I'm going to shoot you in the crotch like RoboCop did to that one guy. Yeah. Right in the dick. I practice with that thing. So, yeah. What I was getting at, though, as much as that's going to be a clip, was though, driving to and fro to various video jobs and things and whatnot, and you end up out in the middle of nowhere in the Midwest a lot. I have noticed a slight return, because for a while all the Trump shops are also all boarded up, which is really fucking just symbolic.
Oh, I have pictures.
Oh my God.
Next time I'll bring the pictures.
Just sad. People were like, I sunk. It's like you bought like a spot at the state fair and a whole like food truck thing, and it's like, yeah, we're boiling bologna in hot water, and it's just like, I lost all my money on this idea. It's probably someone else's fault. Like, yeah, is it? Joe Biden fucking had to steal the election, and now I can't sell Trump t-shirts. And oh, by the way, you're giving up on it then? Wouldn't that be the move? To just print some new... Oh, right, yeah. You're not going to make your own merch. You're just going to get the joke that someone else made and buy a bunch of it from whoever's making a lot of money off of this. A lot of money. And then they just like boarded them all up and everyone was like cheering. And I'm like, you people, I have no sense of business. But then I'm like, oh, that's why you're voting for like a super rich New York real estate con man that was on reality TV and think he's going to like save you from the poverty you've gotten yourself into by being too stupid to do anything anyone's willing to pay for. Yeah, so of course you wouldn't double down. And of course you wouldn't hire a graphic designer. I would make you a shirt too, by the way. Like, I would have come up with Stop the Steal if you're paying me, like, before everyone else did. I'd be like, I will make you amazing Joe Biden stole the election T-shirts. They're gonna cost you. But I would have, you could have hired me because I'll do anything for money. Like I would fucking mow Hitler's lawn. Like I don't care. Like, but yeah, I don't have to talk to him. It's like when Noah worked for Prince. Like our friend Pogo Noah once did some blue collar type of stuff at Paisley Park, but his car was always all spray painted with scary like railroad car shit. Like. Give PCP a chance and eat shit. And his famous story was one of Prince's handlers had to distract Prince from seeing that car parked in front of his house. And then they came out and yelled at him. It was really funny. Pogo Noah, I think he does metal work now a lot. And he's an artistic guy. But that's his real name, too. So, yeah, okay, wait, oh, fuck. Like I would do whatever for, I would make Trump merch. It would be funny. Like, I'd just be like, check this shit out. Just be like, we should do a rainbow Let's Go Brandon flag for, like, the LGBTQ anon. There has to be some of those. Like, there has to be a little crossover, and that's a market you're just, leaving on the table. There's probably gay Nazis. I don't know. But, I mean, it's not up to me to sell this shit. I'm just making it and conning you into thinking my ideas are coherent because I'm the first person you've ever talked to in person who doesn't have a double-digit IQ. So, you're really going to get excited. But, no, they've been popping back up, and now they're not storefronts. They're just tents.
I saw one.
Here and there, these sad little things.
Saw one, and it was on 65 North. Heading towards like Ham Lake and all that shit.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God, I thought those were gone. And then holy shit, here's this one. And it's just like, it is literally just a tent. And it's just got this sad sack guy sitting in there behind the thing. Just I'm like, with his truck, there's like a truck. Like a pickup truck parked out there.
What else would there be? A lifted Prius?
And then, there will be.
There's gonna be soon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We come out with our side. But yeah, it was just like one guy, and then I think he had his kids with him, just sitting there waiting. I kind of wanted to just go,
just teaching him how to not live your life. No, you know what? Okay, it's like Sunday afternoon, so no one. Okay, so these people aren't printing this merch. Obviously, that would take investment and time and thinking. So they're just buying this on bulk from somewhere. That somewhere has to be a place you can call. It absolutely, there has to be a distribution center for this shit because all that money is going back to something that fat fuck owns. And so there has to be a way to contact that. Fuck, we're going to have to plan an episode during business hours. I'll do a little bit of research. I am going to call and be a very motivated supporter that wants to start business. Actually, no. How should I run it? We're going
to find out how to get our own tent.
Yeah. And if they really talk me into it, I might buy one. We'll find out, or at least, I don't know what you do. But that's what we're going to ask. So I have one. Okay, this is my question for you, though. This is what we need. Actually, it's my question for everyone. I have a choice to make. Okay? I can either I'll give you a little taste of either. All right? I can either, because it's just on the phone. They don't know who I am. They're not going to see me. They don't have any idea. So I can either be like, hey, so my family and I, we came into a little extra money, and I really, really would like to start my own Trump merchandise. I've seen storefronts, not recently, but I've seen tents, and it seems like there's less overhead in the tent, and it seems like there's I think that I can find some space I can either be that guy, kind of be like, I'm already talking a little too smart by accident, but I'm doing this off the cuff. I'll write a script, like a fucking telemarketer. And, but okay, so, or I go in as an ice cold Patrick Bateman. This is a scam too, but there's a lot of money to be made. Like, all right, listen. So I already do have an LLC set up, and I would be very interested in purchasing this licensing agreement or a lease or a franchise. I don't know. I need some information on that. I've had my people do a little bit of research, but it turns out the margin on, t-shirts are often the sweetest plum in anything, as you know too. And there's a lot of people out there that just are very sucked in by I didn't have to pay for all of the PR and, well, frankly, brainwashing that's been done, but it's been done. The groundwork is laid. There's money to be made, right? Right? You can use that if you want. I don't even care. So, anyway, these fucking fat morons will line up, and I think I can start a tent. So I just go I'm going to make a lot of money doing this. You're going to make a lot of money doing this. But I'm going to keep kind of throwing out there that it's because everyone buying it are a bunch of total fucking idiots, and the other franchises are total fucking idiots. We can do this the right way, goddammit.
I'm going to go vote for 80s Coke guy.
Is that what I was doing? Yeah, I should get some Coke. But yeah, just really be like, then by the end of it, he'll actually agree to all this. And I'll be like, I just made $3 million. Like, what the fuck? It's on TV. Like, yeah. Because I'm really good at bringing people, as we've seen, right up to the edge of like, is this a fucked up joke? Scheme. Oh, you know what? We don't need to find that out. Now that you say that, that's definitely what it is.
Think about it. Like, it's like, yeah, it's they want you to call it the distribution center, and yeah, this
has to be an MLM, well, here's the thing: you buy the merch from us, and because they hire some rube.
Or if it isn't, you could convince them to become like that's. It's a great.
I could be like, I could be a recruiter. I'm not interested in buying into this pyramid scheme. It's not we both know it is. Listen, I'm not going to call it that, but here's the thing: I see very few of these tents. Every rural shithole that I drive through that doesn't have a Trump tent is money that you're losing. There could be one like there were in the old days, back in those heady days of 2017 and all that shit. Yeah, no, this is going to be great. I'm going to try to coke someone else up, just gas them up like crazy, because I don't want to get too into it, but I've had a lot of opportunities in my search for a little bit more permanent employment, and it's actually been a lot of fun. Like, you know that I've been, if you pay attention, I've been a weird musician and a freelancer forever, and I'm like, I kind of want to go in-house somewhere. I kind of want to just get a 9-to-5, but, you know, something I'm good at, like, you know, being a multimedia guy or whatever, marketing. I understand all that stuff now. I've done a lot of fake business, but it's time to do a little real business. But the fun thing was I've gotten to be in some, a little bit of a creative director role with, like, a bunch of actual button-down people in a room a few times, and it felt so good, and it is giving me the disproportionate, unearned, and unhinged confidence to start making more business deals. Branching out from things I'm really good at and understand into the territory of I'm just making shit up and I don't know what I'm doing. Because, by the way, if you're getting into the world of Trump tent merchandising, that's where everyone's at. It's got to be a pyramid scheme. It's one I want to be at the top of. Yeah. I think, because otherwise it's just going to die. And honestly, it's a part of, it's Americana now. I'm going to, if I have to go driving through the middle of nowhere and I don't see a tent with a very, very poorly educated racist...
The great thing about these tents is that they're mobile. Shit, we can, sit in this parking lot for half a day and then move to the next parking lot.
That's a great idea. And if you want to get involved, call in now. The number is on the... We should have a telethon so people could buy stock in our pyramid scheme.
Oh, no.
Is it a scheme? Yeah. I am fucking way too excited about this. I think, here's what I really want to do. I want to make the new Let's Go Brandon. Because if nothing, I am a creative director, and I think it would be funny to make a spin-off of it. Because, we're not dealing with people that can handle two different slogans in a short matter of 8 years. I think that'd be a lot for them to remember, and they're running out of room on their trucks. But we could make sort of a spin-off, something fresh, because, they were Make America Great Again. And then later, the re-election failed farce. It was Keep America Great, which it had COVID.
Oh, don't forget about No More Bullshit.
That one didn't really take off, though.
Nah, I've seen it.
I've seen it, and it was
people have fucking flags next to their American flag, way up on their flagpole. It's like, no more bullshit with the big Trump thing. That is,
which is so funny because that's
the creepiest thing.
Yeah, I know, and just seeing that in a garbage shithole house out in the middle of nowhere, populated by sad obese people, is just that's some serious bullshit. What are they trying to stop? It's your fault that I can't get OxyContin anymore. I don't even understand what these people's problems are, other than the poverty that's systemic and not part of what they're blaming, and also a huge combination of...
they're not in poverty. They have a big house and a fucking
some of them,
farm.
okay, I've seen some variation. I've seen those, well, I'm not a rich fat cat, and they have like a 3-car garage out in a nice like, it's cheaper out there, but yeah, and they have all these like Ford F-350s and whatever the hell. I get, yeah, but some of them are like trailery dumps too that'll have the exact same thing, and. It's funny. It's like they're almost there. It's like, hey, you guys just join forces and take down the man, but you don't know who the man is or how to really do anything except for put stickers on your truck and hang flags up. And you know what they say, God hates flags. That's a good sticker right there. How can I make that a thing? Like, have a picture of like a flag with a guy with a bunch of flags and his, Trump and, violent.
No, that's going on the Bernie.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
God hates flags. But, and by that, of course, I mean Randall Flagg, the Antichrist from Stephen King's The Stand. A book that becomes more relevant as time goes on. Anyway, no, I was thinking.
Fuck, I hope not.
I like how it didn't, though. I like how COVID was, like, clearly bad, but it was like, yeah, but people kind of thought it was going to be that, and I'm like, it's never going to be that. That wouldn't have been that. That could happen, but I don't know. It's kind of like the zombie movie thing where you're like, I think that this is so destructive that it wouldn't be able to spread very well. Regardless. So, we need the sequel to Let's Go, Brandon. And I think what I want to do is try to, because thinking about just the few little tents, it's kind of over. Like, Ron DeSantis is the real Antichrist from the movie The Dead Zone, if anyone's seen that. He's the guy that's going to be the more serious guy that's actually, he's kind of a joke, but the real guy that might be really bad might be the guy after him. Like the Omen 3 Antichrist of just like, like Sam Neill's coming back from the grave. But he goes to hell a lot. Anyway, because remember he was in, what was that spaceship movie that was terrifying?
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely great.
Event Horizon.
Yeah.
Event Horizon and the Omen 3. Like, he was the Antichrist and the guy that, like, comes back, like, possessed by...
You will see!
Pinhead or something.
You will see!
Yeah, he turns into, like, a Cenobite in outer space. But, anyway, that's for our movie review show that doesn't currently exist. But, which is maybe what Rum Dumpster should become.
That's what I've been saying.
I have the IP. Yeah, well, we should do that.
Okay.
Anyhow, here's what we do. We were watching Genius in Motion. The new one, it's like, Make America Great Again. Now it's Keep America Great. Now it's like, Keep America Great doesn't... They're probably still selling those, even if it's been the other guy for 4 years and everyone's complaining. It's like, you guys just...
You gotta... bullshit we gotta sell. Let's get this out.
Yeah, it's like, you get for the first 9, you get the 10th one for only a penny. Like Spatula City from UHF. Movie references. Anyhow, yeah. I think let's go home, Brandon.
Go home.
Because
Brandon.
Since this is clearly COINTELPRO, and the Let's Go Brandon thing almost feels like the other side invented that to make them look stupid, which is like shooting fish in the barrel. You should almost feel bad. You're like, let them have it, R2. It's just so like, so sad. But the fun part about that will be, they'll be like, yeah, because it's time for him to pack it in or go back home to Jesus, even though he's also going to hell. But
love it.
Okay, good. You're my focus group. But see, we'll all know that what that should show you is just the few sad little tents left.
Shouldn't it be go home, Brandon? Or
no. Okay, here's why.
Okay.
Let's go, because go home, Brandon would actually be better, so we can't use it.
Okay.
Like, that's go home.
I don't want it to be
go home, Brandon. Like, that's...
don't want it to be too good.
It should be let's go home, Brandon, because they'll be like, right, because remember do you remember the Let's Go Brandon t-shirts? Like, you're wearing one, but yeah, those are good. I have it on my truck. But, so, okay, this one is let's go home, Brandon. Because it's time to, like, just fucking say, forget it, Joe Brandon. What is his real name? And anyway, like, so that... But we'll see it. And with the imagery that it will invoke for at least me, because everything I do is to amuse myself, and if you like it too, that is incidental. But what I will envision is just the last few. Like, I heard that there was like a QAnon rally that had like no, or it was no. I mean, the things are really connected, but I think it was an official Trump thing. But it was like they were these giant events, and there was one in like Kentucky that he wasn't even at. It'd be like the gathering of the Juggalos, and well, okay, Violent J's not here, but we have Twisted, okay, and the singer of Blue Felix has a bunch of techno versions of his song that some other guy helped him make. It's like he'll be at the side stage, and he has a hot girlfriend that'll be with him, and we all like that, right? And there's like 27 people there. Like, that's kind of what happened with that. It was like Donald Trump Jr. is here, and it's like, and Laura Boebert's secretary, and there's no music, and they're like, but traffic has actually been pretty light. It's just, they used to be these things in like the middle of the city, and all these they even had one here that nearly burned down. And now it's like this thing out, it's like, we gotta be out of here by 7 because they have to set up the tilt-a-whirl for the cattail days. That's the Fergus County Fair. You're welcome to stay, but you're gonna have to get a wristband, and those are $10. So anyway, like, that's where that is now. We've played more state fairs than the Beatles, man. Like, that's that moment. You're Rat in 2005. Like,
I gotta say, but in his heyday, even in Washington, how much Washington hated him, he couldn't get anywhere near Seattle or whatever. He was up near where I was living, which was this little crap town of Linden, and it was right on their fucking, like, little fairgrounds, Whatcom County fairgrounds, and he was, like, airlifted in, and it was just this, like...
I like imagining he's just, like...
just standing around, and it was...
He wasn't airlifted in the helicopter, but when, like, Matt Foley... When Chris Farley gets hoisted up, he's just sitting there, like, he just gets, like, lowered down. He's just like...
But just in reference where Linden is, it's like 3 hours north of Seattle, so it's like the middle of fucking absolute nowhere, Washington, and like it's all like that's like the red state.
Well, right, but
area.
See, now they're like the little shops of horror, the little tents. No one shops at them. There's no real storefronts. There's nowhere near as many of them. There's a few flags out in the middle of nowhere. There's this thing, like, people have just gone, like, I think this is a scam and I don't care anymore. There's a few people just clinging to this thing. And there's no greater sad, maudlin sort of statement for folks like you and I to enjoy, ironically, on someone's car who it's making fun of. It's just like, let's go home, Brandon. Just pack it the fuck in. No one is buying a hoodie for $90 with a rich, fat failure dressed as the Karate Kid on it or whatever the hell you're doing.
I really want
nobody
one of those hoodies.
No. Yeah, he's in the crane kick position.
It's like,
woo! Like Mr. Miyagi is just fucking Ron DeSantis. I don't know who we pick here, but...
Oh, no.
Yeah. Guys... We had some laughs, we killed some time, we almost ruined democracy, we alienated our extended family, and we lost our job at the tractor store, but then... at least we had a couple shirts that made liberals mad. They didn't get it. It's not us that's stupid. Let's go home, Brandon. Na, na, na. I should have just clicked the end button there.
But take a nap.
I was actually kind of landing on the notes a little.
That was great.
I didn't warm up, and I've been smoking. That's what's the kid Frank Sinatra's success. That was him that did that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It really. No, I'm not going to be able to top that. What am I doing? We got to make it to an hour, though.
We're pretty close.
The QAnon guy shot up a Dairy Queen. That was funny.
Was that recent?
That's like this week's news cycle.
Okay.
I think that's why I was thinking. Well, I was thinking about that, and then I saw the tents. And I was like, I don't really want to do an episode about this, but I kind of... So earlier when I was like, I have nothing, it was more like, I have something and I don't want to do it. But you know what? It actually kind of worked out. It was kind of fun. But yeah, this guy was like, I am going to go... Like, he was in a Dairy Queen in fucking Ass Cancer, Nebraska. And he, like, had a gun, and he's like, I'm going to shoot all the Democrats until there's none left, and then it just has to be the other people, I guess, or something, or whatever, and the cops got him. And I'm like...
Makes me think of that Pat Brown song by the Vandals.
Yeah. I think the real problem with this country is there's no follow-through. I don't think that guy killed a single Democrat. It's just like... He started at Dairy Queen. Okay?
Yeah.
Like...
Tell you, bud.
You remember, like your child, everyone loves Dairy Queen. It's like, no one eats dairy. And no one likes the Queen. Everyone woke hates the Queen of England. They're lactose intolerant. It's just sugar, fucking you're there. Like, they're not going to be at Dairy Queen. Like, that's the last place. Like, I'm going to kill all the... Was he just there to tell people? It's like he's waving his guns around. He's like, I'm going to kill all the Democrats. They're just like... Okay, well, good luck. Go get him, I guess. Like, go get him, Tiger. Yeah, that's just counterproductive. Like, he didn't go... Like, where would he even fucking go? Like a vegan co-op or something?
Yeah.
Is that... I mean, like, at least symbolically? Like, I'm not trying to give anyone the idea that they're going to have a lot more luck in their... psychotic plan to murder their way into having their fat dictator back.
Hopefully not.
Which also provably doesn't work. I'm a man of a certain age now, so of course I've read a lot more books about World War II. And that's just what you do. I don't have the kids, but I'm a dad. And you have to start doing that. It's just the law. I need to know more about how submarines work. Like, it's just a thing. And when I get when I become grandfather age, that's when I'll get into the Civil War.
There you go.
That it's just a part. It's the beautiful cycle of life. But one thing that I did learn is that they literally what would eventually become the Third Reich. They attempted to do a violent coup in Germany in like the the late 20s or something, and it completely didn't work. Like, some people, he got everyone. It's at the beginning of the Stanhope special, actually, the beer hall push. Okay. He was in this beer hall, this First Avenue-sized big Rammstein video dick tittin' thing that he got all these people worked up into a lather, and they were just going to go storm the Capitol. And then, but since it was Germany in the 20s, they just mowed them down with gunfire like we should have done at this more recent one. And man, we should have. Like, side note on that as we crawl towards an hour here. I would have loved for like an Ed 209 level of response to like that. Just like, you can't just come in here. And I know they intentionally kind of nerfed security and it was all like this fucked up mess. But it's like, it would have been so exciting to, like, on TV, like in high def ultra realism. Just not even like we're gonna shoot, bam bam. Not even like the Apache, like, but just those things you've seen like documentaries about where there's like the two just Gatling gun machine guns that are like, we told you to leave, you have 5 minutes to comply, you have 2 minutes to comply, you have 10 seconds to comply, and it's just and they're just mist, and they're just, the cars are just orange liquid glowing. It's just like what the fuck was that? It's like, woo! Just like, we are the Pentagon finally came out with an official statement. They fired over a Googleplex round of spent uranium shell casings into the terrorists. That would have been really cool. And I think nothing bad would have happened. They would have been like, they can't do that. And like, you can't do that. It would have been like, fair. Like, what did you think? It's like, if they did that at Area 51, like, those people would have been like shot into the sun. Like, you can't do shit like that. Anyway, Hitler learned that in the late 20s. He was just like, let's go and we're just going to take the power and whatever. And yeah, the German fucking army just killed a bunch of people. They were just like, no, how about that? And they're like, okay, fuck this. And they literally, like, there's books written about how they were like, we're too late in history for this to ever work again in this big of a society or whatever. Like, they were like, there's basically, like, it's impossible to do, like, a violent overthrow. You can't really do it. And we've seen that. Like, the Floyd protests and stuff, it's like, some of that was like, you know what, this is it. This is the revolution. This is communism. And it's like, no, it's just like a bunch of shit got broken and people went to jail and everyone made a good point, but then it was just like we all went home. Some neighborhoods got worse. A lot of them are actually kind of all the way bounced back now, and literally nothing happened. Starbucks like cashed a huge insurance check for all their broken windows. You didn't change a fucking thing. So, and then the January 6th thing was just a farce. They should have been turned into a fine paste, but whatever. It was part of an inside job a little bit maybe. But either way, nothing happened. You can't do that anymore. You actually have to like pull like an election, even if it's a little shady. You still have to do things like that. Like even fucking Hitler was made the Chancellor of Germany through voting and shit, and then they took the voting away. Like that, after
That's how it works.
That is how that happens. That's why you should vote early and often, even in primaries. You lazy pieces of shit. But yeah. My point being that everyone who thinks they're going to go to Dairy Queen with a machine gun and be like, this is where it starts. What you should really be doing is learning about your local representatives and registering to vote. And if you're going to shoot something up because you're going to get the Democrats, maybe a vegan coffee shop. I don't know. I'm not here to do your job for you. Let's go home, Brandon.
The Reverend John Wheeler podcast takes zero responsibility for the words, actions, or ideas of its host, guests, or listeners. Though the people on the screen may at times be speaking directly to you and may occasionally give you direct calls to action, neither Reverend John nor the Alchemical Cocktail Lounge are under any moral or legal obligation to answer for the potentially disastrous repercussions that may arise if you are stupid enough to actually follow the orders of a raving lunatic. Think for yourself and do whatever you want, because you're on your own. If anyone ever tries to sue this podcast, black SUVs will converge on your location in the darkness of night and you will never be seen again. Remember to like and subscribe.